Hello, everyone. Good evening. My name is Susan Reyna. We represent Beacon Therapeutic. We're a non-for-profit social service organization that's been in existence since 1968. We are founded by parents who are trying to find a special education program for their children. And since 1968, we've grown significantly. So today, we're a multi-service organization. We have 4 different locations. I'm going to put our locations on the overhead. We have 4 different locations. Our business office is located at 1912 West 103rd. Our Longwood campus, which houses our elementary program, as well as our outpatient mental health clinic and our intensive outpatient programs, are located at 10650 South Longwood. Our homeless outreach services, where we provide all of our mobile mental health outreach services for homeless women and children, is at 117th and Western. And our Calumet Park location, which houses our high school, is at 12440 South Ada. I'm particularly happy today because we have Dr. Joan Gross here, as well as Javon Veal and Amy Jeffers. They represent essentially our curriculum experts at Beacon Therapeutic. Today we're here to talk about our Accessing Regular Curriculum, which is an evidence-based curriculum that was designed by the teachers and spearheaded by Dr. Joan Gross. So I would like to introduce Dr. Joan Gross, who is our principal at our high school. And maybe, Joan, if you can tell us a little bit about yourself before we jump right into the curriculum.
Thank you. I grew up in Southern Illinois and began my career there working in a residential facility for students with special needs, and then moved up north and worked for several years in Glenbrook and worked in a school for children with autism. At a point in time where I thought I wanted a change, I went looking for an opportunity and found Beacon and have truly enjoyed being a part of that program. I found the challenges of Beacon irresistible. I like challenges, and Beacon offers challenges.
That's one nice way of putting it. But I think one thing that's, clearly we've been fortunate to have you with us and the wonderful work you've done at the high school and building Beacon's academic program overall. But today particularly we're here to talk about the curriculum. And maybe tell me a little bit about why having a curriculum is so important within a therapeutic day school.
It's critical. It's critical, and we've been through a wonderful process as a committee. We began our process just by being ordered by the state of Illinois that approves us to redo our curriculum. We had a curriculum in place, but it no longer met the needs of our student body, so they pretty much ordered us to write a curriculum. And we did so with some trepidation and dread because it's really a Herculean task. But happily, we've been able to accomplish it, and somewhere along the line got totally converted. Went from, oh boy, why do we have to do this hard thing, to celebrating an accomplishment that we're so excited about for our students, because it really is a sea change in what people do for children with special needs, and the impact on the students' self-esteem, on their own feelings about coming to school and coming to the learning task is just huge, all in a positive way.
Well, and I'd actually like to remind everyone this is a live call-in station. So the number you can call if you have any questions or comments is 312-738-1060. And you can hear us talk for the next 30 minutes, or you can call with your questions if you have any or comments. Maybe we can describe a little bit about the students that we get at Beacon and why this is so important. So what type of children does the high school and the school overall take?
Our students have somewhat serious self-management problems, so that the demand to organize and produce work in a typical school program is beyond their reach. Additionally, many of them have learning deficits, so that the difficulty level of the material that would be provided in a regular school program is really hard for them. They need modified pace, they need modified difficulty level, and in the case of our own students, they need material that they can connect to and relate to, because it's very difficult for them to bring themselves to a learning task that has no meaning for them.
One of the things that I know is that Beacon is able to provide its own diplomas, and that's very important for us. So, the emphasis on the curriculum is being able to modify the state standards to meet the needs of the students. And I'm wondering, how has that been implemented through the curriculum?
The curriculum provides several things, and it is based on not only state standards, but the Common Core standards and the assessment standards, so that the curriculum literally flows from those standards that are provided to every student in every school in the state of Illinois. They're tightly unified. There's no gap between the standards and what we do with our students, nor is there a gap between the nature of the content. I think traditionally special education content was quite different than what you would see being provided to typically developing students. And perhaps the most significant part of our curriculum is that we bring regular content, grade level content, back to our students, and believe me, they know when they're being given work that is like other students in the 9th grade or 10th grade would be doing, and they know when they're being given work that's not consistent with other students, and they feel negatively about that, especially if it's a skill development exercise that they've been doing for many years and still not mastered.
Well, and I'm thinking a lot of our children are children who have been, have fallen through the cracks in
Yes.
other programs.
Yes.
So how are those variables incorporated into what we're doing?
Well, I think the critical piece to that is getting them on board as a learner. It's very hard for them to bring themselves to the learning task because they've been given a lot of negative messages over the years. So I think we find that they fall through the cracks less frequently whenever we're able to give them a learning task that they can relate to.
And I'm wondering, now when we're talking about the curriculum, what are the ages of the kids that we're talking about that would benefit from this curriculum?
From our curriculum, junior high and high school, 12 to 22.
Okay. And then how are the kids responding? What's been the sense from the kids?
They really like it because it says that they're
I'm
intelligent.
actually going to put some pictures up of the kids as you're talking because I think that kind of...
It says that they're intelligent and capable learners.
what are some of the feedback from the parents?
The parents feel proud to see their children bringing home books and material that they recognize to be high school level work. This is really critical to self-esteem and ability to come to the learning task. If you've been working on multiplication tables your whole life, and I certainly have, and you still can't multiply, and I can't, it's not fun to keep coming back and having to do that again. So we've created a way to bring the content to them in a format that they can master and they can feel good about themselves. They can feel intelligent and valued as a learner.
Well, and I think one thing that I know I've heard very clearly from yourself and from the other staff is that trying to make it culturally sensitive and respects their intelligence and what they have learned.
And
which
their
is so
culture.
important, and their culture. I'd like to remind everyone again, this is a live call-in show. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to call. The number is 312-738-1060. I'm here today with Dr. Joan Gross, and shortly we will have Javon Veal on, also from Beacon Therapeutic. We're talking about our Accessing Regular Curriculum. Tell me a little bit about what some of the feedback has been from other providers or other programs.
Well, as you know, we've sold it to another program, and we trained their staff in how to use it because it is a paradigm shift that's not easily mastered. But they have actually given us in writing feedback that they've invited us to use as we represent our program that's extremely positive. They've said, and it was thrilling because we worked hard with them, that we had enabled them to make a culture change.
And I know that's significant. I think with dwindling resources, being able to provide something to the broader community is really important.
Yes.
I'm going to put some additional information on, and I will also be switching now. We will be having Javon Veal joining us. Javon is a learning behavior specialist and the educational services coordinator at Beacon Therapeutic. Javon, thank you for joining me today. That was a smooth transition. Good job, guys. Javon, if you want to tell me a little bit about your background and what you do at Beacon.
Okay. I began at Beacon in September of 2003 as a special education teacher. I shortly got promoted to the position of IEP coordinator, and then the position I'm in now is the education services coordinator. And I'm still the IEP coordinator, but I also do testing coordination as well.
Now, tell me a little bit about what your role has been in developing the curriculum. That's a good sign. That's a good sign. I'm going to put some information on regarding the curriculum as well.
The process itself was a rather overwhelming process, but a very beneficial process as well. The teaching staff and the student population both benefit from the process. Basically, my role was to align state standards, assessment standards, state standard assessment standards, and just overview the content and compile the course descriptions.
Now, everybody emphasized evidence-based, and I know, maybe we'll talk a little bit more about it. But the value in terms of having evidence to support the importance or the effectiveness of what's going on. How are we starting to deal with that within the curriculum?
Right now, we are in the process of developing assessments for pre and post tests, just to monitor the student growth over the course of the year with each course.
And what are some of the components of the curriculum?
Right now, there are 7 components that we didn't start out with, but as the process went on, they eventually came together. The 7 components are the course descriptions, the state standards, the assessment standards, the required text, supplemental materials, independent materials, and instructional activities.
And then it's all the subjects. It's all the stuff we all took in high school, right? So what are the subjects?
The subjects actually come together based on what our referring districts require. So some districts require some things as mandatory and a certain amount of credits. A certain amount of classes as electives, and some districts require other things. So what we did was kind of pull all of those courses together to come up with the overall courses.
So it's music, it's art.
Yeah, music, art, the 3 maths, the algebra, geometry, advanced algebra.
Okay, we have a caller. Caller, you have a question?
Yes, hi. I was wondering if you were a school district, how you would go about purchasing this and learning how to actually implement it into your own school.
Gosh, that's a great question. Actually, we have had repeated calls from various districts. I think if anybody's interested in contacting Beacon about how to go about purchasing the curriculum, they can contact Beacon at 773-298-1243, and I will put that contact information on, or you can call the number on your screen and we can provide you that information, and that number is 312-738-1060. And part of the package, essentially, that we've developed in terms of purchasing the curriculum includes an extensive array of support. And maybe, Javon, do you want to talk a little bit about that support that's available if people do purchase the curriculum?
Yes. At this point, Dr. Gross and I, as well as 2 other teachers, will actually come out and train you on how to utilize the curriculum.
And so there's components in terms of, there's technical assistance, but then there's ongoing support that's part of the purchase price, as it were. And so far, the feedback has been very positive.
Yes.
What is some of the teachers' responses or the staff's response been to the curriculum?
Oh, it's extremely positive. It really helps with the organization of teaching the students. Because we're not in a unique educational experience, sometimes our kids are mixed grade levels within one class, and then you can have a student switch from one class to another, and the continuum of course content is not there. So this curriculum really helps to unify what's being taught all over the building and helps with the continuum of education.
I know one of our biggest challenges, because of the high transient nature of our kids, just even beyond within classrooms. And I think, how would a school who's perhaps receiving a student that's been receiving this type of curriculum do within another school setting?
Well, as Dr. Gross often says, you can never have too much geometry. You can never have too much world history. So, sometimes there may be an overlappage, but hopefully, we can somehow create a unique instructional method or a unique method of delivering this instruction to the students.
One of the things that I know our board has been really impressed by is the fact that there was an absence of a formal curriculum for our types of children. And at the same time recognizing there's all this emphasis on, solid curriculum, solid standards. I think that's what's been so invaluable to have this team be a part of. How large was the team that worked on the curriculum?
The team actually consisted of the entire teaching staff, myself and Dr. Gross. Dr. Gross's assistant even assisted in pulling this all together. So it was a team effort, and the positive thing is that it was written by teachers for teachers.
Well, and I know we're going to have Amy Jeffers on in a few minutes, and she'll be able to give us a teacher's perspective, which should be wonderful. Well, yourself in a leadership position, how has this helped you be able to do your work in terms of having this?
Well, as the IEP coordinator, it definitely helps with the goal writing.
Right.
It does help with the organization of content. You can see when the teachers are coming into the IEP meetings, for example, that the goals are more focused, and it's just more organized, and the teachers are they have a clear understanding of what is expected of them as far as instruction.
What would you like to see happen further with this curriculum?
After we actually put the assessments in place, I would just love to see the ongoing development of it, the continual expansion. It's a extremely good product, extremely good, and I just would love to see it grow.
Yeah, one final question. Sorry, I know this wasn't on the list of questions. How has it been for new teachers kind of absorbing this?
Like I said, in our population with a unique class situation, I was a new teacher without the curriculum, and I believe that the new teachers, they receive it very happily because, again, it gives you a focus, and it gives you a direction in which to teach.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much, Javon. I'm actually going to switch to some components of the curriculum just so that you, as we transition. Of course, now I can't find the piece of paper. Here it is. And next we have Amy Jeffers coming up, who is a teacher at Beacon Therapeutic. And we're very happy to have Amy here today. Amy.
Hi.
I'm here.
Thank you for joining us. Again, I'd like to remind everyone, we represent Beacon Therapeutic. We're a therapeutic day school along with the multi-social service organization located on the south side of Chicago. We are talking today about our curriculum. We're very excited. We have the staff here from our Carroll Park High School location. We're talking about accessing the regular curriculum, a copyrighted curriculum that was developed by an educational team at the high school. And we've interviewed Dr. Joan Gross, the principal, Javon Veal, the educational services coordinator, and then now we have Amy Jeffers, who's a teacher. So Amy, can you tell me a little bit about yourself and how long you've been at Beacon?
I've been at Beacon for just over 3 years now. I've been a teacher for 8. I've worked with kids with, variety of disabilities, emotional behavioral mostly.
And so was there something in particular that drew you to the mission of Beacon or what we do?
It's a really great team environment. Everyone works really hard together to see the success of the students, and that's always really attracted me. I also really enjoy the challenges of alternative schools.
Well, one of the things I know being a teacher, the challenges of working at alternative school. I mean, our kids are exceptionally challenging.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering, recognizing there's so many things you can't control, like the children, as much as we set in certain behaviors, how this curriculum has been able to help in doing your work.
Well, other schools I've worked in, you don't really have a curriculum. You don't really know what you're doing. So you ask other teachers for a general ed curriculum, what do they do, and you spend all of your time trying to come up with what you're going to teach the kids. Because of our curriculum, we can now focus on the behaviors, giving the kids the skills they need to be successful, and hopefully getting them back into the regular schools.
Can you tell me what was the process like in terms of developing the curriculum? And I'm going to put some pictures on of the kids as we do that.
I worked with the subjects that I like to teach the best. That was part of the fun part of this, is we all got to pick what we were going to work on. So we got our core standards and went from there, and then also compared with the other districts, the things that they were teaching, and then we developed all the 7 categories that Javon was talking about earlier.
What does this look like within the school? I mean, can you maybe describe what it looks like when you're utilizing the curriculum?
Well, I mean, it looks like a regular school now. The kids are all learning the subjects that, they should be for their grade levels. It's not, teachers getting black lines and making as many copies as they can. It's also great team-wise. All the teachers are teaching the same things, so we can really work together as a team to get what we need to get.
I'd like to remind everyone this is a live call-in show. If you have any questions or comments, we're here today talking about our curriculum that our high school developed. The number is 312-738-1060. Amy, what advice would you have for other teachers that are trying to implement curriculum or trying to work with special ed kids?
I mean, the curriculum is really key on, just in my classroom alone, I've seen such a change in behaviors from the kids. They really, they know that they're being taught what everyone else is being taught now. It's kind of disrespectful to me when you're teaching kids, below their ability level, and you're not giving them the skills that they need. And the kids really realize that, and they're more eager to learn now. And we also spend a lot more time on the behavior. So I feel like they're a lot more successful going back to the other schools in our building, preparing for graduation.
Or going back to their home school?
Yeah.
What's some of the feedback been that you've received from the parents on this? I mean, do they notice a shift?
They certainly do, especially in the work that they're seeing at home. You know, they parents come in for conferences and report card pickup, and they talk about, you know, how proud they are to see the work that their kids are doing, and that they also now feel that they're more prepared to go back to their home school or to graduate, because they are now accessing the same curriculum that their peers have. So it's kind of leveling the playing field out for them a little bit.
And then the curriculum, it's designed to be year-round because our kids go
Oh, yeah.
over the summer. So how does it change over the summer?
Well, the kids aren't there for as long, so we pretty much divide the kids up to different classes, what they need to be taking. So it's, you know, whatever classes they need to catch up on.
That's great. Now, one thing I wonder, how have you been involved in terms of, I know there's been a lot of external presentations. What kind of feedback have you gotten from the other staff? Is there a level of excitement to know that other people are using this, that they were part of developing? Or
Yeah, definitely. I mean, at first you kind of get a reaction from the teachers like, oh my goodness, how could we ever do this? It looks so hard. And then once you talk to them and you say, you know, I was in the same boat. I've been there where you have no books, where you have no paper, you know. Then the teachers seem to really get on board and get excited about the fact that this is possible and you really can do it.
what would you say are some of the biggest challenges? And are there some challenges in implementing this curriculum?
You know, I really haven't found any.
Wow, that's good.
I don't, not like tooting our own horn, but it's made my life so much easier. Because you know, we get to work together and we have a direct outline to look at to see what we're going to be teaching next.
What kind of ongoing support do you get to be able to implement this? I mean, are there meetings? Are there ongoing?
We do a lot of sharing among teachers of, you know, for Hamlet, what were you doing? Kind of help out, or especially when we get new kids in and, you know, they're either a lot higher or a lot lower than your other kids. It's nice to go to talk to the other teachers to decide the best way to address that. Also, if there's any, like I did a poetry unit, I think there was a picture of it.
Oh yeah, I'll get
And
that.
then, but we do a lot of sharing that way, and we're like, hey, the kids really enjoyed this, and it went along with this part of the curriculum, and we talk about it, and then it works
Tell me
out
about the
nicely.
poetry unit. I will find that one.
The kids were just working on different types of poetry they were learning. So we, you know, made the incentive of you get this fancy paper and you get to make a big board and everything, and then the rest of the kids really liked seeing it, so then they wanted to do poetry, and it was it was fun.
What are some of, how is technology incorporated into this curriculum?
We do a lot of research the kids do. Also for our career ed classes, they, you know, look online at resumes, at job applications, that sort of thing. We also have the kids doing PowerPoint presentations. They created a website at the beginning of the year.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, they do a lot of fun stuff, and it's all based on sharing what they learned, which then they, you know, they take that ownership of the learning process of making sure they're meeting their standards.
Well, and I know, and it's part of the whole curriculum that we've been able to package, is that, you know, anybody who purchases it also gets the curriculum on a DVD or a CD, and, you know, and they get the other supports. Have you been involved in any of that support to anybody who's purchased the curriculum?
Yeah, we did some of the training, and we went over, because we also, you know, have it on a zip drive. So we can, you know, just say, well, if you look on page 75 of the English curriculum or whatever, you know, it's really easy to just refer back to that and then answer questions that way.
And actually, that I'm glad you bring that up, because I know that's something that each teacher has the curriculum on a. Can you describe that a little bit? What is it that they have? A jump drive or?
Yeah, we just have the zip drives with the entire curriculum on it, so we all have the exact same thing and access to it whenever we need. We've also lately been doing a lot of lesson plan sharing, so we just add whatever we want to our zip drives, and then we just can pass them back and forth.
Which is great. It's a great use of technology.
It really is.
Well, thank you very much, Amy,
you.
for joining me, and thank you to Joan and to Javon. We've represented Beacon Therapeutic. I will put down some final contact information on us. If you are interested in finding out more about the curriculum, please feel free to contact us at 773-298-1243, and that is our website. We are very excited about our curriculum and the wonderful work we're trying to do. I think one of Beacon's mission is also kind of to develop capacity in other providers that are working with the same kinds of kids that we do. So I feel like this is the step in the right direction to do that. Of course, on another note, I would like to remind everyone of our upcoming fundraiser. It's our Beacon Bash. It supports our homeless services program, and it's July 21st from 6 to 9 at Joe's Sports Bar on Wheat Street. If you are interested in tickets, the number is 773-298-1243. Again, I'd like to thank all of our guests today. It kind of went pretty smoothly, I think. And we will see you again next week. Thank you very much.